Simple edit. Should you be using it? Well, let's find out. So I started my journey confident that with simple edit, I was gonna get a lot of claps, a lot of dubs, a lot of kills, and I was wrong. I soon realized that many of the players here are sweaty, actually sweatier than normal. Apparently, Zone Wars is crazy. This is like my fifth game here, and yeah, it's really hardcore. So yeah, I was using Simple Edit, and I quickly noticed that I didn't have time to edit nothing. I would simply just land and get shot. So I had to figure out what was the pros and the cons of using Simple Edit, at least as a new player. What you're seeing here is me playing as a controller player, which I have many years of experience. I feel like I'm okay. More than anything, I need to work on my editing, building, minor aim. But overall, I do okay, especially when I get carried. So, yeah, I'm close to pro, I guess you can say. Um, yeah, I started aimlessly just building, just like what, I'm just gonna box myself if there's nobody here. Oh, there's somebody there, and of course I got third party. Not only that, I'm dying to the storm. The storm does like 5 damage each time. So I'm panicking. I run out of mats. I get clapped again. You can see my expression. I shake my head, and it's simply no go for me, right? It's like, what can I do? Can I even build at this point? Can I even use simple edit? Maybe I'll get easy kills, right? Well, yeah, they were very rare. My kills were very rare here. So then I realized maybe I'm going about this all wrong. Maybe I should just try to see what else I can do, right? Maybe I don't focus on fights right now. I'll just focus on staying alive and getting the hang of it, moving around. So I'm kind of like, okay, what are all these little squares that appear on the stairs? Okay, apparently if I move my cursor specifically in a certain area, it builds a certain shape. So I kind of kept doing this, but it was just instinct to just keep rushing with the shotgun aimlessly, and of course it kept going bad. So I skip ahead and then started to think about everything I was doing wrong, which was basically everything. More than anything, though, I noticed that I kept leaving myself exposed. So I thought, hey, maybe I'll start by kind of turtling, boxing myself, just moving, learning how to maneuver through the storm. Again, I'm not the best builder, so I started to use Simple Edit to build simple boxes to keep me protected and be able to move outside of the storm. And I gotta say that Simple Edit did pretty well keeping me safe, at least from other players and for the storm for a good amount of time actually. So I thought to myself, okay, maybe I'll box myself and just move through the storm, pick off players as we go, and that was basically my main focus. Again, trying to stay alive, trying to stay out of the storm. And I was like, okay, yeah, definitely easier to edit and stay alive with simple edit. Where in a normal controller, I would not obviously be able to do this. I can't edit that quick, and I often find myself getting stuck with um, my own edits. So yeah, basically the rest of the game goes like this. It's actually about to end. Let's go on to another thing. So after a few matches, I started to realize that I could focus mainly on my aim and shooting, which is where I kind of do best, and less on editing, right? Just kind of building whenever I need to. So yeah, that's exactly what I did. I started focusing more on actually just doing simple boxes, and then focusing more on the fight and on shooting. And I gotta say, it worked pretty well. I also realized that some of the weaknesses that simple edit can have is that based on where the person's looking, you can kind of guess where they're gonna edit. So I used that to my own advantage and was able to get a few kills that way. As you saw in the clip, obviously, you can get tricked and believe that they're going to edit in one side and edit completely different. But I did notice that most of the players here were actually using simple edit. Um, but some of them were really good. As you can see, this guy got stuck and I still died, I think. Somebody earned the nuke and that was it. So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I could have gotten a nuke if I wanted to, but I didn't. So I jumped into Box Wars and I figured it'd be less hectic here and I'd have a better chance to get more kills and get to use, simple edit a little bit more with what I had learned, both with shooting, editing, building, and whatnot. So we went ahead and actually started with our game. And yeah, I realized that I was getting used to it, just being able to focus more on the fight, again, less on the whole building and editing portion, which I think really helps out controller players. I can see this not being as useful for mouse and keyboard, since it's pretty easy to maneuver with the mouse, less so with the controller. And then with the aim assist, you also have a better chance of getting a kill, maybe with controller. Okay, so in this next fight, I think a little bit more strategically, by making all the builds around me my own. That way I can easily edit them. I was trying to be cautious. Um, I gotta say, I actually focus more on building and editing here, which came in handy. So as you can tell, I'm slowly learning as a controller player who played a mouse and keyboard and is now focusing mouse and keyboard for the past 2 months. I was still trying to get used to having my aim back and whatnot. Fortunately, I was able to kill Peely, which he was actually teaming with other people, which is pretty sad. But I was able to kill those three pretty easily. I think they were actually in a team, those three people that I just fought against. All right. So as you can see, simple edit is pretty good for when you're running away from the storm. If you really don't have time to edit, you just kind of run, simple edit, right? Easy. You get away from the storm pretty easily. If you're in the middle of a fight as well, it's pretty easy to just focus and have your gun out while you take over buildings. It allows you to basically edit without having to draw the figure, right? You're able to edit and easily come back to the center wherever you want to aim. Just like that as well. Let's say you peek or they take over your wall. It's pretty simple to run away like I just did here. As long as you hit the right one, keep running. So it's useful for fighting. It's useful for running away from the storm. Um, I think for me, a new keyboard and mouse player who used to be a main and controller, I would definitely use it. Just because it's so much simpler to kind of not have to worry too much about the editing, right? It allows me, as you had seen in the clips, to focus more on my aim, which is where I feel like my strong suit is, and where I feel like most controllers excel in as well, right? Especially having kind of that aim assist on controller. That's kind of like your go-to. So while you're here, while you're fighting, you can just focus more on the fight, and then in those pinch of a moment where you're stuck in a storm because somebody's being thirsty or maybe you just moved a little too late, it helps to build your tunnels and keep it moving without having to worry too much about the editing. So I think that's great overall. Now, of course, there's going to be controller players that can edit and build really quick. And to those players, I say congrats, this may not be as useful for you. But for those controller players that don't spend hours, focusing on perfecting their builds, I would suggest they really try this. Practice it a little bit and see how you like it. Because in the end, I feel like it's really going to help you out. So, again, pretty simple. You know, focus on your fight. The most important part is to know where you're aiming. So, of course, as you can see here, it shows you what's going to be edited based on where your cursor is at. That's probably the most important part. So, if your cursor's in the middle, it's going to open a window here. If it's over here, it's going to open the corners, right? The good thing, again, is that you don't have to build. You don't have to draw your square. For example, here, I would draw a square like this. So my aim be away and come back. With simple edit, I just go a little bit over and back, right? Simple edit. Cones, same thing. Pretty simple. You move around, this moves around. You hit a specific corner, it does a different shape. The only thing that it doesn't allow you to do is peek through a roof, right? Because it edits automatically. You can do this, but then after a while, the vision is gone. So I feel like that's the one hindrance. Mouse and keyboard players, I think that now that I'm one of you, sort of, we have it a lot easier, at least for ourselves, to have more control over what we're doing because we have so many keybinds that can be fixated on just one action, sometimes even more than one. So for us, it's pretty simple to drag our mouse, to edit real quick. I still have simple edit on, but it's easier for us to move our mouse unless we have really high sensitivity on the controller to edit. Easier for us to, do the whole peek and shoot. But again, controller is probably the one who should be using this, or even mouse and keyboard players who, again, don't have a lot of time to practice. I would suggest that you attempt to use it to see if you like it or not. But if you are on mouse and keyboard, try to really focus on practicing without it. Again, is just better in my opinion. Professional players may use it as kind of just like to have fun. Maybe they might find something unique about it and actually start maining it, start using it like completely. But I don't really see that happening. It's just mouse and keyboard, Fortnite, I would say, caters to them. They try to help a controller by giving them aim assist. Now with simple edit, I feel like they're a little bit closer to at least reaching the general population of mouse and keyboard players. Um, Games like Call of Duty, I still see myself maining a controller. It's just, I don't know, nostalgia maybe, but I just feel way better on controller when I play there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Wanted to show you just some real quick gameplay. Go over this at the end as I'm doing now. Let me know what you think. Have you started using it? Have you noticed, some strands, some cons about it? What would you recommend to other people? What do you feel like it still needs in order for it to be better? Or do you feel like maybe they should need to just take it off and it's ruining the game? Let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tune into my other videos. Oh, and one last note for those that probably have seen my other videos and already know, the reason I started playing mouse and keyboard, well, aside from seeing that it's overall better, is that I would have so many issues connecting my controller and having it work. It simply would just not work. I would have to do, a million other things to have it work. And then what worked today wouldn't work tomorrow. So I figured, I'm gonna just learn this. It's easier. It's connected. It's always recognized by Fortnite, unlike the controller. Yeah, here I am. Yeah, that's it. It's enough blabbering. I'll see you in the next video. Laters.